everybody, welcome to the YouTube channel of the Intelligent Millionaires Network. My name is Nordsiek, and today we do an interview with a very special guest. His name is Bert Barten. Bert and I, we know each other already for about 20 years. He's a theater maker, a music maker, he's an entrepreneur, he's an international traveler. Welcome here.
Hello, Hans. Hello. Yes, nice to be here at the EMN network.
Good, Bert. I gave us a brief introduction, and could you give a short version of your life in a few minutes until today?
Okay. I started as a rock musician, pop musician. I had a pop group, quite popular in the 70s and the 80s. And we traveled to Europe with a bunch of hippies, 3 big buses with about 20 hippies in there. And we went from place to place. They mentioned us as the Dutch Pink Floyd. That was a psychedelic band with a lot of psychedelic stuff. And then I put a lot of things on stage, and they told me, Bert, you're not making music anymore. This is theater that you're making. So I went to a theater play in Cologne in Germany. And there was the movement director, Lindsay Kemp from David Bowie. And he did a Midsummer Night's Dream with no text, only in movement and pictures, in tableaus. And I was so impressed by it, I thought, okay, I go from pop music to theater. And they invited me in the North Netherlands theater group in Groningen to do, for 4 years, I was a theater director over there, to make new music theater. So I could put music on stage and things like that. And that was a very experimental phase, but very, very nice with a lot of performances. And then I was asked to make these big performances outside the site-specific events, they call it. In the meantime, I was invited by the television company, De Vara in the Netherlands, to do a theater show called Late Night Show. I did it for 3 years. In combination with the big theater spectacles. And I did it for 12 years, the site-specific events. And I always had my sound studio where I made music with friends also for the theater plays that I did. And in the meantime, I was also interested in the spiritual side of things. So I studied storytelling, and I'm educator of I'm a Zen master of Zen meditation for about 30 years now. So that's also a spiritual side of things. And I was always interested in environmental issues in the world. And that's also CSR is my my background.
Okay, can you tell us, for the people who don't know, CSR, what's that?
It's corporate social responsibility. Corporate social responsibility. That's a big thing in America, really. And there's a network called Social Venture Network, and I also worked on the European side of Social Venture Network and also the Asian side of Social Venture Network.
Bert, we come later on about what you're doing these days. Now I hear you talking. It's a great story. I can imagine you can talk about this for another 24 hours. Yeah. I hear a businessman, I hear an artist in you. The businessman cannot do without the artist, and vice versa. Is that true? And who's today in control in your life?
Well, it's a split brain, actually. Yeah, you have 2 sides of the brain. One is the ratio, one is the intuition. The artist of me is in the intuition, is on the right side of the brain. And the more logical part is on the left side of the brain, of course. And I have a combination. I produce my own plays. So that means that I'm in control of the money, but also in control of the artistic side. It's not many times that you find that in one person. Most of the times with artistic groups, you have a business leader and an artistic leader in groups. With me, that's in one person. Wow. I like it that way, because I'm more in control of the artistic side, because I make, for instance, when I say I need 500 red roses on stage, And then I see how much that costs. Then I can decide right away to make one big rose of 3 meters high. You know, that's cheaper than the thousand. So I'm in control in that situation, and I don't have to go into discussion with other people. And so it's convenient time-wise.
Well, that's very good and always amazing what you say here, Bert, because at least also in my view, maybe of many viewers, that's the challenge of life, to combine the artist and the businessman. We talked about this before, and could you tell us who was your #1 role model in your life that let you accelerate?
Well, there's a few of course, when I go back. One of the guys was Colin Wilson. He's a writer. He lived in England. He just died a few years ago, Colin Wilson, and he put me on a track of philosophy about, but he wrote about 70 books. He wrote about the quality of the beer in England, but also about Gurdjieff, also about all the big philosophers. And he's a very interesting character. I met him a few times, and he was a real role model for me. To not, you have two different kind of people. You have the specialists and you have the scanners. A specialist is someone who gets a pension, who does one thing in his life. He studies one thing in the university and is a specialist in the thing that he does. And you have scanners. I'm a scanner. A scanner is someone who follows the curiosity. For instance, when I did a play called La Divina Commedia from Dante Alighieri, I knew more about that play than a professor knew. But a professor who taught Italian stories knew more about the poets that lived in those days and things like that. And I don't know that. I go into one subject and I know a lot about it. And then when I see it and I have seen it, then I go on to another project. So as a scanner, you move, you follow your curiosity. And that's a difference. You never have a pension because you move jobs all the time. You know, it's the other people, they call one-trick ponies, you know. And I'm more of a lot of jack of all trades, you could say. And both are important for us because the guys and the women who go after the curiosity are inventors also. They look at things and they can combine different educations also. And I think the next step of humankind is the combination, like bio energy, you know, energy and bio. You have psychology also. That's how they call it in English. I forgot the words, but just in the combinations of education systems, there is new. There is the new things that we can discover. So all the specialists, when I saw in the 70s, for instance, all the 70s, in the 70s, I did performances on one stage, and we had the jazz musicians, the pop musicians, we had the poetry, we had science, we had everything. We had the action painters on stage, you know, these were big performances. And then I saw that the painters went into the art schools, the poetry went into the literary department, you know, so everybody became a specialist in his field. And there was no connection anymore between the sciences. So I did a performance called Fragmented Science, and then I invited professors in different education systems, for instance, economics, theater specialists, and when they talked in their own vocabulary, they couldn't understand each other. They didn't know. They didn't know what they were talking about. So then I took a director, a musical director, put them in front of these professors, and I let them read out of their own works and own books that they have written, and we tried to make one sound of the knowledge that they had. because the vocabulary that they used is so complicated that all these specialists now, and scanners are more, how do we communicate with each other? You know, where is the common ground of things? That's where I was at the moment.
Bert, we have viewers that have like a business background, and today we are in a challenging situation all over the world, especially for the business people. There's a big head scratching. What next? What next? What would your advice be based upon your experience? How to take the next step if you're in a blind spot in your life? How to evoke your inner creative artist? What to do? Help.
Well, we have to get back to nature. We are far away from nature. Nature can teach us everything, how to cooperate, how to work with each other. I'm doing a project now, it's called Talking Trees. I'm listening to trees and the vibrations of trees. And I decided with my whole team to go out and plant 5 million trees in the Netherlands, 50 million in Europe, and 500 million in the world. That's the thing that we are setting up now. We need to have meaning. You know, you can have 6 Ferraris in different colors, you know, you can buy a 7th one, but that's an empty life that you're living. I have friends who have that, you know, so, and they're all walking around with this big hole. What should we do? We should connect back to nature again and look at it in a different way. There's a new film on Netflix from David Attenborough, the great scientist. He's 94 years old now. And he made a statement. He saw all the development of humankind passing by, where we are now. We are ruining our world. That is what we're doing. So we have to take care of the earth. That's the most important. So if you want to make business, if you want to make profit, that's a possibility. Of course, that's a possibility. But we have to connect back to these roots, to the founding. Even Shell, the company, that's a Dutch company in fossil fuels, is changing his opinion about this. And it's a very conservative, company. So even those people are thinking about it now. So that's the way forward.
And Bert, to make it more specific, now we have this this business person listening to your story, and he has 50 people on his payroll, and he's lost a lot of customers. He cannot sell his products, his services. What should he do as a practical step?
Practical step is, what are you selling? That's the first thing that you have to consider. Is that something that people need, or is it something to keep you alive?
Okay, that's a good one. Okay, suppose he would sell cars.
Yeah, then you have to think about what is the car that we need today. You see that Elon Musk, he took on the whole car industry, you know, and they said he was crazy. And then Mercedes-Benz tried to buy him, you know, and things like that. And but he didn't. So it is possible. You know, and now Tesla is all over the world. You know, the same thing with Steve Jobs with a new thing. You know, if you look at Apple, it's the biggest company now at the moment. They never asked themselves from. They never asked people from. They never did research. What do people need? They just thought, for okay, what do I need as a person? You know, so if I want to be connected to nature and to the environment, then we need electric cars. Then we need another way of thinking about the world, and I think there's the innovation.
And there you would see in the present condition, we are in a world global crisis, that there are also the opportunities are right there. That's a game changer, would you say?
Look for the game. Of course, there's opportunities everywhere. There's an opportunity. So you have to look for the change agents within big organization, because we are in a transformation. We are really in a transformation. If we don't get this right, then in 50 years, the world will be ruined. And then we ruined it in 100 years, you know, the last 100 years. So we have to take care, and there is the possibility. So look at solar panels, look at wind, look at all these new possibilities. Look at how do you call it,
hydrogen.
Yeah, hydrogen. Yeah, precies. Look at it in that direction, you know. But also here in the Netherlands, we are having these big buildings now where they grow vegetables. So we need less land, and so we have to look at our production companies. We have to stop eating that much meat, you know, because that takes a lot of. Now, in that direction, you have to search.
So, Bert, would that be in the consequence of what you just posed, that money would get a different dimension? Would you say that it's not more money driven? Money will be more like the oil in the system instead of the ultimate goal that we want to achieve? Is that what you say?
That is the problem. You know, stakeholders are the problem now. Wall Street is the problem. You know, so we have to really look at that again. We need another money system. We need another. We need other systems. We even need a new political system. But it's very difficult to something that evolved in 100, 200 years. You know, to change that. Do we change it by breaking it down ourselves, you know, voluntary, or does it break by disasters? You know, I think we should look at that. And talking about money, yeah, it's there's a very nice book of a father and a son, Skidelsky, they're called. How Much is Enough? That's a very interesting book. How Much is Enough? The father of the guy is a millionaire, and he lives in France in a big chateau. And his son visited him, and he said to his father, "Father, how much is enough?" Because he was still gathering money at 70 years old, you know. And he said, "It's enough, isn't it?" And then they started talking to each other. And in that book, they describe how the world would look like. His father is an economic guy who knows everything about money and how the things work in that world, from Adams to Keynes is his name, I think. Keynes. So from Adams to Keynes in economic, that's hard capitalism. And he comes to very surprising answers. You know, he said, okay, we have to stop with advertising because we're advertising so much shit, you know. Let's stop with that because we're producing so many things that we don't need, and it destroys the world. Another thing is that he talks about a basic income for everyone. We have so much money, we could provide the whole world with a basic income. Yeah? You still there?
Yeah, there was 2 seconds. Go ahead. Go ahead.
A hiccup of 2 seconds. So these are all things that we have to look at, and is it so? But also, what a big problem is the world population. In the 70s, we had a group of people, the Club of Rome, they called it, and number one in the 70s, one problem for all the world was the world population growing in such a fast rate. Can this little blue ball that is hanging in the air provide the food for so many people? So that's also a thing that we have to look at. Now, so there are many things, but
I hear you talking with a lot of knowledge and wisdom, and you're still very active today.
Yes.
What is at present your reach out towards business people? Again, that are the head scratches in the world. What next? What is your reach out towards business people?
We just started in Rosmalen the Conscious Academy. What does it's we have a church and 20 apartments. So I would like to invite all businessmen to come there and do some training sessions with us. Everything that comes into the world starts within. You know, if you want to design something, every house, everything starts with a thought. And if that thought comes out of the ego, you know, then it's a strange thing, because there's a thought, and then you're going to say, okay, I make a goal, I make another goal, and we strive to reach all these goals. That's not how things are happening in nature. How things are happening in nature is they just happen. And do you have the silence to look around what is needed and go into action with what is needed instead of the ego providing the ego with stuff? You know what I mean? So
yes,
how do you do that? And that's something we teach in this Conscious Academy.
And is that for all types of people?
That's for all types of people. John Lennon said it once, you know, life is what is happening while we are making other plans.
That's a good one.
Yeah?
Yes.
So we are making plans and plans and plans, but we don't look at life, what is happening, you know? So there's three things that we have to do. We have to slow down, we have to concentrate, and then the meaning appears. That's how do we slow down? And we must slow down now. That's a thing with COVID. That's a nice present that it gives us. We have to slow down. So now we have the time to think about and look around what is needed actually here in this world, you know, and then the meaning appears again. And the meaning is a different one. We have to take care of each other, you know. So we're here for a short period of time, you know, and we have to look around and see what is needed in our surroundings and go into that.
Bert, thank you so much already. We are going towards the conclusion of this beautiful interview. I have two more questions for you.
Okay.
And the first question, I will mention a name, and then I like to know and hear what it does to you, and what has been the impact on your life of this person, and give a 1 minute sentence. I say Joseph Campbell.
Yeah, Joseph Campbell is one of my teachers. I studied with Joseph, I think about now for 25 years. And the nice thing about him is that he gathers all the stories from all the world in different cultures. And he also did comparative religion. And yeah, that is very interesting. And you see that everything is connected. That's the thing that I learned from Joseph.
And Joseph Campbell was the mythology expert?
He's the mythology expert, yeah, of the world. He's worth looking into. So I advise everyone to go and look.
That makes you and me also brothers, because he's also my big role model and a teacher master. Yeah. Bert, one question. Tell us the short version again of your latest project in regard to trees.
Yeah, 20 years ago, I was walking with Scott Gresham Lancaster in San Francisco in the Redwoods. And we were having fun, you know, two old hippies running around in a forest. And he had a lie detector with him. And we were telling each other lies, and we were looking for, can we tell a lie without a lie detector noticing it? And we were having lots of fun there. And then I said, okay, can a tree lie just for fun? A tree is an oak tree, or it's a pine tree, but it cannot change it. It cannot say tomorrow I want to be an apple tree. People can, you know. So that's a big thing. And so he went to this tree and put a lie detector on the tree, and then we saw the thing making little waves. That he had, the lie detector made waves. And I had a little synthesizer in my car, we connected it, and then we heard sounds. And then I thought, this is interesting. We forgot about the whole idea. 20 years later, they were cutting down the forest in Poland. I know that all the universities in Europe look at Poland as the Ur forest, the oldest forest that we have. And that's the 0 point of every measurement that we have on forests, or forests. And then I said to them, aren't you protesting for this? And they said, yeah, but we are not an activist group. We cannot do that. And I thought, yeah, somebody has to do something about this. So then I remembered this thing that we had 20 years ago that we invented. And I called Scott to say, come over here. And then we tried to make music from this. And then we go to the European Commission and show them what is happening in Poland. And we started a whole movement. So now they're cutting down the trees around the old forest. So that's for fire also very good, that the fire doesn't touch it. They have their wood, but the forest is protected now. So we have still our 0 point measurement. And that's when we started doing this. But that was a concert that we did. And it was so interesting that we thought we were going to do more of these concerts. These concepts are very abstract, so I thought, okay, I have to do something concrete as well. So that's why we're planting trees now, and I can use all the help from all organizations to fix that.
And you make music, you record the music from the trees, and you give the special audio treatment, and then you can listen to it.
Yes, you can listen to it on Spotify, on my name, Bert Barten. And then you see the project Talking Trees under my name. And there's 2 albums at the moment. And there's a new one coming out in November. That's 3 albums. And that's raw data from trees. So then you can hear the different music that the trees provide.
Bert, how can people contact you?
Go to the website, www.talkingtrees.com. And there is info at Talking Trees, and you can connect me from there. There's a telephone number, there's an address. Talkingtrees.com, that's the best way.
Very good, thank you. Then before I thank you for this amazing interview, I really love also personally to hear your story again. Is one more thing, what would be your reach out, the takeaway for the viewers and the listeners? The last final takeaway, you need to know this from Bert Barten.
Let's join forces and create a greener world. Let's plant some trees. Go to the website and join the Talking Tree tribe. That's important.
That's a good conclusion of this interview. Bert Barten from the Netherlands. In fact, you're from the world. Thank you so much for joining us today. And we talk to each other next time. All the viewers, thank you for being here. And join Intelligent Millionaire Network. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.